Alright, so as you can see here, there's quite a bit of debris that actually came out of this motor. And, this is mixes of old grease, copper fibers, dirt in general that goes through this fan. And so it's a good idea to clean this out really good if you can. The casing, as you can see here, of the motor, that black dirt, you don't have to worry about cleaning that. I mean, honestly, it's not going to make one bit of difference. What you need to make sure is that you get everything out of these ports here so that nothing can fall back in, because the motor is actually going to be sitting like this, upside down. So anything you leave over on the top is just going to fall right into the motor, and that's what you really want to avoid. So what I did is actually I tipped it upside down, hit it with my fist a little bit. Some particles came out, but it wasn't that bad. But generally speaking, it just if your motor is that gone where you can't turn it one bit, you're better off just getting a new one. But this one is actually completely salvageable from what I can tell. Obviously, I won't know until I get it back up in there and installed and running. But so far, it's looking promising to be able to get this thing back up and running. So now's the time to actually come and oil it. And I was reading that some people use WD-40. Personally, WD-40 is great for rust inhibitors and to make squeaky parts lubricated again. It's an all-around good lubricant. But I personally, especially with motors, small motors like this, with bearings and so on, I personally like to use 3-in-1 oil or anything that's similar. And that's just a personal preference. You can obviously use WD-40 if you want, but I just prefer to use oil itself and not the spray. But this stuff is actually pretty cheap. It was only a couple of bucks, and real easy to use. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to oil the shaft, and we want to make sure that the metal that's contacting the shaft here is actually spinning freely, and there's no abrasion going on here. So basically, all we're really going to be doing, and you want to do this slowly. You don't want to just dump a whole bunch of oil in there, because obviously the motor is up underneath here, and if you dump a whole bunch of oil in there, it's not going to be good at all. You just want just a few drops. And because the shaft here actually has a flat side, I actually use that flat side to my advantage. And what I'll do is just on the opposite side here, just like that. That's it. It was just a little drop. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin this. And you're probably going to spend a good, depending on how bad your motor is, don't rush this. Don't just drop some in there, drop some on the other side, and then reinstall it and off you go. Take a good hour, I would say. A real good hour, and just kind of, make sure that the oil is, penetrating, that it's able to get down and lubricate the parts that are actually seized or near seizing. And it's actually pretty easy. So I'm obviously not going to record an hour worth of video of me doing this, but I'll go ahead and just work on this for a little while, and we'll then work on the underside. I've been working on this for about 10 minutes, and already I've noticed that this is much easier to turn. much easier to turn than it was before. I don't know if this is the primary fault, this point right here, but you know, I would probably turn it for about 2 minutes, add another drop of oil, you know, turn it, you know, for about another 2 minutes, add another drop, and here I am about 10 minutes into it. This thing is spinning pretty good. There's still some oil here on the top here, but I think that'll be fine. I'm just going to end up just wiping it. Should be fine. But yeah, it's definitely turning more freely than it was before. It really is. So now that we're done with the top side, we're actually gonna come to the bottom side, and you can see here there's a little port. Not all blower motors have these, so it's something that you're just gonna have to find out if this is available for you. And actually, I'm actually quite shocked personally that this is actually here. A lot of General Motors parts are sealed, and they're sealed because number one, they don't want you messing with them. Number two, they don't want you to fix them on your own. And so if this motor was in fact sealed and it was causing me the problems that it is now, then I would have two options: either get a used one or get a new one from the dealership. So having this porthole here, as funny as that sounds, allows me to actually just kind of renew this motor instead of buying a new part from the dealer or a used part from a junkyard or whatnot. So I'm actually really shocked that that's there. Honestly, I am. I really am. A lot of the parts these days, you know, they're ridiculously to the, you know, it's just it's all about getting you into the dealership to have things replaced. And especially if they can get you to get in there to have them install this. This is $120. I believe it's more at the dealership. That's like Napa Auto or something like that. I don't remember which place I was looking. But you go to a dealer and you're going to spend $200 on this. And then if you don't know anything about cars and they have to install it, you know, they're going to charge you a minimum, you know, of at least an hour, even though it's only going to take them all of about 10 minutes to install it. So, you know, money for the dealer. So anyway, like I said, I'm actually quite shocked that this port is here. So the same as the upper side, we're just going to add a little bit of oil at a time. You do not want to just drop a whole bunch of oil in here. It is not good. Just a little bit at a time. You want to be able to work it in. You want to give a chance for the oil to start working its way in, to start penetrating and loosening up the parts that are not freely moving. And so here, it's pretty easy to do. I'll show you. Whoops, that was my fault. I didn't get any in the hole, but there, one drop. So basically what I'm doing, there's one drop of oil down in there, and I'm basically going to move it, or just spin it, and allow the oil to kind of spread throughout the parts. And here again, I can already tell just doing this that this motor is spinning much better now than it was before. So I'm going to do the same thing I did with the upper side. You know, spin it for a couple of minutes, and then add some oil, spin it for a couple minutes, you know, rinse and repeat basically up until probably a good 10 minutes, and then I'll see where I'm at. Okay, so I have been working on this for about 10 minutes, and it is almost as smooth as butter. This thing is turning super nice. It really is. Obviously, you won't be able to tell yourself because this is just a video that you're watching, but it really is. This is, it's just amazing how much better this thing is turning. So I'm pretty confident that, you know, installing this, I think it's going to be fixed. I really do. It looks great. A little bit of oil on the underside, easy to get rid of. But yeah, everything's spinning nice. So